Greetings everyone, Hotfix 29.5.4 is live on PC, and we have DirectX12 Beta support introduced into the game. Now this of course is the beta. You can enable it when you go into the game in your launcher, cog icon in the top right, and then select DirectX 12. Now DE have noted the following. The DirectX 12 driver should look graphically alike to the standard DirectX 11 driver, but the new driver exposes several optimizations we can use in the future. Even though Warframe's DirectX 12 support is still in beta, you should notice slightly faster rendering on most graphic cards and faster rendering on multi-core systems. Please keep in mind that several optimizations are still in the works. For example, the new driver does not yet support the shader cache that's automatic in DirectX 11 drivers. This difference means that as you play, the DirectX 12 driver must convert shaders from a generic format to versions optimized for your specific model of graphics card. Depending on your system, this process could appear as micro-stutters the first time a shader is needed. Other games work around this process by forcing massive shader compiles in their launches. We hope to avoid that as we work on a different solution. We also hope to hammer out some bugs during our initial beta test of the DirectX 12 driver. To that end, we are keenly interested in having crashes reported if they only occur in the new driver. If you can reproduce a crash consistently in the DirectX 12 driver but can't reproduce the same crash in DirectX 11, please report the war number in the thread, which is linked in the description. We're also interested in knowing what looks different with DirectX 12 enabled. Differences likely signal a bug, so if you find one, please send F6 screenshots to support. So that is now the launch of the DirectX 12 Beta in Warframe. Test it out if you want to. Once again, you go in your launcher, the cog icon in the top right, and DirectX 12. Moving on, we have Necramech Changes and Fixes. There are 3 polarity slots, Vazarin, and Madurai. They have been added to the Bone Widow Necramech. This was an oversight on DE's part, and it should have come with the launch of the Necramech, similar to the Void Rig. They have noted that if you have already polarized the slots, we'll move your chosen polarity to a universal slot. If you have polarized all 9 slots, you'll be given a former. Necramech summoning is now more forgiving on the Cambion drift. You should experience less invalid launch points on slopes and inclines and more. Bone Widow's meat hook ability will no longer skewer Deimos Carnus and Deimos Saxum due to breaking throwing functionality and overall wonkiness. The enemy Void Rig Necramech Storm Shroud ability no longer provides immunity but instead provides damage reduction for the duration of the buff. They have fixed a crash when joining a mission where a squad mate was casting Void Rig's Necra Web ability, a crash during an isolation bounty when fighting Bone Widow who casts Firing Line. They fixed an inability to use Bone Widow's Exalted Iron Bride after melee attacking during the equip animation. Bone Widow's Exalted Iron Bride becoming invisible after transferring in and out of Bone Widow. They have fixed deactivating Bone Widow's Exalted Iron Bride while Shield Maiden blocking, resulting in your active weapon displaying as Pugil, and you'll still be holding the Iron Bride in your hand. They had noted that this prevents you from both firing your gun and shield bashing until you release your block and allow the de-equip animation to play. They've also fixed an inability to summon a Necramech on shallow Cambion drift exocrine, with the note, this also allows you to summon a Necramech along the shorelines of lakes in the plains of Eidolon and Orb Valis. They have fixed the ability to move around other players' vacuumed items by the Necramech, and they have noted your vacuum should only affect pickups for yourself. They also fixed Necramechs not displaying when searched in the inventory screen, and lastly, fixed numerous script errors when casting Necramech abilities. For Cambion drift excavation changes and fixes, Endless Excavation now requires fewer excavators to be cleared in the Endless Bounty variant for a full squad. It was 5, now it's 3. They have noted that this makes each round a little quicker and allows for enemy escalation to increase a little faster. They have added a 5-second invulnerability period to excavators when deployed, increased the time between excavator deployments from 3 to 5 seconds, and they added an extra 3 seconds on the first excavator to give players more time to prepare for the encounter. They fixed reward banners for endless bounties not showing the correct bonus icon for previous stages, some bad excavator placements in the Cambion drift, and the excavator arrival transmission not playing. For glaive changes and fixes, the alt fire will now also heavy attack the glaive in the glaive and gun mode. The alt fire will heavy attack at any point during a glaive's flight, noting that before, when a glaive auto-recalled after reaching its distance limit, it could not be detonated during its return. They also fix glaives sometimes orbiting around you after recall, and cases of consecutive glaive throws failing. For the game's overall changes, bounty objectives on the free roam missions are now enabled 5 seconds after the bounty vote concludes, allowing players to reach the encounter area and start the objective before all the preamble transmissions complete. The arrival objective transmission will interrupt the preamble if the objective is started before the preamble completes. They have updated the Baran Prime ephemera so the dragon bodies will take the accent tint color, giving you further customization options. You'll now be placed just outside the Necrolus gate upon loading into the Cambion drift from the star chart, and they noted that we found that due to spawning so far away from the Necrolus was resulting in an inability to join Cambion drift sessions from the star chart. Nora's volume slider will now also affect the transmission in and out sound. Stalker and Acolytes have been given the fancy boss health bar treatment, and they updated the tooltip message for energy while in the arsenal to read used to cast abilities, instead of used to cast Warframe abilities. For Deimos Delicacy bounty fixes, they have fixed the bounty crashing after a host migration during the dig up fungal polyp phase. They fixed the Deimos Delicacy bounty crashing after a host migration during the Polypog Juggernaut death animation, a progression stopper in the Deimos Delicacy bounty where the Polypog Juggernaut will stop at a fungal polyp spot but not dig it up. They fixed a potential edge case progression stopper where the Polypog Juggernaut stops if you're out of range or dead when the Polypog Juggernaut got into the fungal polyp's radius. And they fixed the Polypog Juggernaut waiting 15 seconds between arriving at the fungal polyp and the action being enabled. For the game's overall fixes, they fixed some crashes that could occur during a Gas City Sabotage mission, a crash related to a host migration occurring during a pip monster encounter, Arlo's flame not casting light when carried in the Zaloid Prelade boss fight on Deimos, Naramon's disorienting blast permanently breaking pathing of the Disruption Demolist and Demolishers. They fixed Nidus's virulence not benefiting from volatile maggot and strain maggots, melee heavy attacks not functioning for Sigma and Octantis, Cobra and Crane, and the Wolf Sledge, objective markers disappearing after a host migration during the cracks in the Deimos bounty, missing arrival transmissions during the infested research bounty, scaling decorations and objects in the dojo teleporting to and from last position placed, infested K-drive parts not staying connected during tricks, rare cases where underground chambers were protruding through the Cambion drift landscape, the Renulist Syndana clipping through numerous Warframes. They fixed the Foundry blueprints that require a lens as a component, having the lens icon appear squished. They fixed Nihil's Upiat appearing through the orbiter walls. They fixed pulling out your pistol after hotkeying the scanner while in your orbiter, a bug where you could hear some vehicle sounds while in the arsenal, a placeholder mod combo count chance tag appearing for Garuda's Bleeding Talons augment, a script error related to saving Solaris United agents in the Orvalis, a script error when Vor spawns in the Void, and they fixed a script error that could occur when playing a Hive mission. Once again, that was 29.5.4. They have noted at the bottom of these patch notes that they are investigating a fix for losing Necramech affinity if a host migration occurs. We'll see what happens when the next hotfix comes out. See you guys next time, and I'll see you guys next time. I don't even know what that outro was, but yeah, bye.